This is going to be a quick one, but it's going to be interesting because we have three major questions I want to ask you, Christopher. So how is everything?
Everything was great. I'm happy to be here. And
we're happy to have you.
Thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to present Energy One here in Dubai and at this conference. And we are very excited to be here.
You know, energy is a big industry here in the GCC and in the MENA region. And with the incoming of blockchain as a technology, the two together are changing the way this industry will be in the future. So first of all, what's your take on what are the applications that we can actually do for energy sector using blockchain?
Well, basically you can implement blockchain application over the whole value chain of energy. When you see where we are coming from, we are basically an energy company. We are working our whole professional lifetime in energy and renewable energy. And we saw a lot of inefficiencies in the process of how energy is distributed. And we were looking into a solution. What is the best solution to make it more efficient and to lift these inefficiencies? And that's where we came up with blockchain, because we see as well it is a huge shift in the energy sector, going away from large power plants installations towards smaller decentralized energy productions, having battery storage in the basement, maybe solar panels on the roof, having electrical cars, and all of these new these devices must be integrated in the grid. And it was for us so obvious that blockchain is the best solution towards it, because it is more efficient than alternative solutions. And that's where we said, well, then we have to use blockchain. So we are coming more from the side of the energy and looking for the best solution. And I think that makes it very interesting and very exciting for us.
So you found a problem and you're trying to find a solution to that problem, and blockchain is one of the tools.
Yes, yes. And then we develop devices and solutions towards existing problems, and we are realizing real problems, projects.
The interesting thing is there are other startups that are doing this, right? And what do you see differentiates what your company from others?
Well, maybe it is a side how we see energy, because we are an energy company. We analyze the market and looking for solutions and increasing the efficiency of the systems, and maybe other companies having more the background from the blockchain sector, where we see blockchain as a tool to make existing systems better.
Okay, so because you already have experience in the energy sector, you can provide a better solution.
Exactly, because we understand when we see where we are coming from. We were over years installing solar installation, windmills, biogas plants, having worked in energy trading, and we were seeing what is the most efficient solutions, which is ready for the future as well. When you see that they're expecting that 700 million new devices will come up in the next 20 years to be installed in the grid. A lot of countries have already grid parity in renewable energy productions. That means that renewable energies are not anymore more expensive than conventional energies.
Yes, they're getting priced out.
Exactly, and that will boost renewable energy, and this not even considering all the topic about climate change and CO2 emissions. But of course, blockchain gives the opportunity to that people can participate as well in this change and even make money out of this.
And how is that relevant to the MENA region? I mean, are the same problems you face in Europe what's being faced today in the MENA region? Is that what you see?
I think partially all energy systems or all energy solutions have the same problems. When we see, for example, apartment buildings here, they are larger than what we have in Germany, of course. but
we have Burj Khalifa.
They are very huge. But if you have, for example, a small generator in the basement, in Germany we would produce heat, here maybe you produce cooling, and then you have surplus energy which is coming from the grid. Maybe in the future you have electrical car charging in the parking garage. And all this communication between all the tenants can be done automatically by blockchain and the building as well. In Germany we are doing this already today in apartment complex, but of course the apartment complex are smaller. Or when I see here in MENA, I see that there's a huge potential as well for electrical car charging. And what is better than having blockchain, which is automatically doing all this billing, this identification of the cars? In Germany, we have developed a solution, which is a hardware where you can identify the car, and by blockchain, the communication between an adapter and the car charging. So all this communication and billing can be done automatically. And if it is a company car, it could be even billed to the company, or it can be deducted from your electricity bill at home. So I think the problems and the solutions and for the future are very obviously in blockchains.
Especially when you have smart cities like you have here
exactly. Smart
in the
city,
UAE.
Yes. Electricity and energy is always part of a smart city to make it more efficient.
Yes.
To use it. And as well, easy of use. I think that's very important because you can have the best ideas. If it is not easy to use, people will not accept this.
If it's not seamless in their lives, they won't accept it.
Yes, absolutely. And that's very important. It must be not too sophisticated. It must be easy to use and easy to adaptable. And I think blockchain has a very good future. It is the same as internet when it started. Many people were saying, for what can I use this? It's knowledge-based. For what is it? And then the real application started. And I see in blockchain we are currently right now at this moment where the real companies with real applications coming in place and doing it. And I'm sure we have now already a huge market there. We have a lot of applications which we can roll out. But I'm sure that in 5 years we think, wow, we can do much more in the energy sector. People will participate in it. People can make peer-to-peer trading with their neighbors. And we see the electricity prices depends on transmission costs, and based on the distances, energy prices will be lower. So there's an incentive to buy from an energy plant close by. And of course, this is increasing efficiencies.
And this is very important as more countries around us stop the subsidies on energy.
Yes.
So on electricity, so like we're seeing in Egypt and we're seeing in Saudi. So this higher cost of energy will need something to help it lower that cost in a new way, and that would be the technology.
Exactly, and I think especially here, because in Germany we have solar cells installed on the roof, and it's still subsidized, but the subsidies are always going down. And I believe here it can be already efficiently and competitive, maybe combined with battery storage. But of course, all these devices must be integrated efficiently in the system, and they must communicate with each other.
So what platform are you using?
We are our blockchain based on a private on Aetherium.
Okay, on Aetherium.
On Aetherium.
On
right.
Enterprise Aetherium.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
But we have adapted a private blockchain towards it, so we don't use always.
Because it is also a tricky subject for government entities that are in charge of energy, because they don't want. You could do a lot of things with the grid if you were able to connect to it. If there's a security issue involved.
Absolutely. But that's the reason why we see, yes, we have adapted our blockchain on Aetherium, but we see as well the possibility to adapt to other systems, because in blockchain it is still a very new topic, and who knows what technology at the end of the day will be there. So I think it is very important that it is possible to transfer as well to other systems, because we really like to solve problems on the long term. It is not that we are now focusing on this, and what happens if this system is not anymore existing? Everything is wasted? No, I think it is very important that it can be adapted to other platforms, to other systems, because the blockchain itself, the concept of blockchain.
So you're going to be agnostic, as they say. You can work with anything.
Yes. Currently we are working with Aetherium because we think it is the best solution to the problems which we are facing. But of course, as things are developing, maybe there come up other solutions that we can't think about currently, and then we adapt us to other solutions. Important is the problems are there, the solutions are there, and we are currently out there to make it more efficient.
Cool. Do you want to add anything before we take questions and answers, take Q&A?
Well, of course, we are a startup company. We have worked 20 years in the energy sector. But of course, with adapting all our technologies, we are as well in the phase of financing, of acquiring funds to really roll out our concepts.
How much do you guys need?
Well, we are currently to get the project out and running. We need at least $3 million, and we are planning as well to make an STO by the mid of this year, and there we have a hard cap of 30 million, because then we can expand much faster in other regions, maybe coming as well to MENA region or going into Asia, because we see there's a huge interest and demand for it, and especially when it comes to smart city and applications, I think it's very exciting.
Thank you very much. Does anyone have any questions from the audience?
That's a really interesting use case that you're working on. If your solution becomes widespread, does that mean there is going to be like a competing infrastructure, or a lot of people ask with different solutions? In other words, is there a way of integrating these through, I don't know, some sort of standard approach to this, where companies can compete, but that everybody's not reinventing the wheel?
I'm not sure if I catch the question right. You're saying if we are in a possibility to interact with other solutions, is that?
Well, you would provide a solution.
Yes.
Other companies would come along and provide a solution as well.
Mm-hmm.
If they do it in very different ways, then
yes.
then obviously the market will decide which is the better way forward.
Yes.
Do we have to go through that period where everybody has many different solutions, and this is all done in a very different way? Because if you do that, then it's very difficult for electricity companies or the infrastructure to actually build for your solution and for everybody else's. Would there be some a real reason to have a standard way of approaching this that then you can compete with other companies?
I think it is very important. This is a very good question. I think it is very important that the different solutions, because of course we don't believe that we are the only one who's doing energy and blockchain, and that's the reason why there must be interconnectivity between the different solutions. Because I always as well believe that competition and differentiation is important. I don't believe that there will be one solution for one problem. So I absolutely agree, and there must be an interoperability between different solutions, and there will be, I'm sure.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Christopher.
Thank you much. Thank you for having me.
It was very nice talking to you.